Hey,
Hey, how we doing?
all right, how are you guys?
Good, how are you?
Real good, real good. Ah, that's great, man. You guys are together. I should have known, you know.
Yeah.
It's great to see, friendship like yours, man. I've been researching, doing the homework on you guys, and you got a long history together. It's pretty cool.
Man, I appreciate that. No one's ever actually said that to us. And so you caught me off a guard a little bit because it's a very genuine thing to pick up on. Yeah, we have been friends for a long time, for
Yeah,
20
I
years,
mean,
longer than half our lives, which means we're old, but it's real. Yeah.
it.
You're mine. Yeah, he's still fine.
No, it is. It's great, man, and it contributes a lot to what you guys are doing. I think it's really important because a lot of music I think is about chemistry. It's about how you guys interact together. Any kind of team or anything like that. You can put the most talented guys in the same room, and they might not make any sound together. But you make them friends, and you put some life experiences with them, and give them some chemistry, and you can do a lot of different things. So I appreciate what you guys have put out, and that friendship it shines through for sure.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Dr. Music Podcast, where today, sitting in with me is Blake Allison and Joey Chicago Walser. They are from Devour the Day and Egypt Central. We're going to talk about that, the two names there. Blake and Joey have had not only one successful band, they have led two great hard rock bands to great success. Between Egypt Central and Devour the Day, they have had top five chart success and way over 300 million streams, which is just incredible. They have just released a brand new single under both the Devour the Day and Egypt Central names. It's called Nobody Owns Me, and it is appropriately on their very own indie label, A Window In. We want to talk about that too. Guys, thanks so much for being here, man. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
Yes, thank you so much, man.
Yeah. Joey, I got to ask the nickname Chicago. I'm sitting, just outside of Chicago right now. I know I've heard from Florida to Chicago in the fifth grade or something like that. Little Rock, why not Joey Little Rock?
What's funny is that
That's my name.
Yeah, that's yeah. He was claimed. I couldn't have it. I think in the beginning, I thought it was just a cool name that John Falls, the singer of Egypt Central, came up with. But over time and looking back, I don't think he could remember my last name when we first met. And so I think he just called me Joey Chicago because I'm from Chicago.
Out of necessity.
Out of just like Joey Chicago, the guy from Chicago. And like I think that's why it stuck in Memphis. But for me, my two favorite bass players when I was a kid were Flea and Peanut. And so I was like, hey, I got a nickname and didn't have to try. Let it, this is like my heroes. And so that's why it stuck. And, then when you're older, Joey Chicago, it sounds like a cartoon character or something, but it's stuck to me now.
It's great, man. I love it. I'm a Chicago kid, so why not?
Agreed.
Yeah, it's very cool. So for those viewers that have some confusion about the Egypt Central and Devour the Name brands, Egypt Central starts 2002, ends about 2012. You start Devour the Day. This is the Reader's Digest version. And you've been through this a million times. I know you have. 2013, you released the debut for Devour the Day. But there's a little bit of Egypt Central creeping out here and there. 2019, you do a reunion. There's a number of singles and an EP. Same for Devour the Day. You get a couple more albums and 2020 EP. Now you have a single under both names. So Egypt Central's not gone. Um, Devour the Day is still here. So how does all that work for you guys?
It's pretty complicated.
It sounds pretty complicated.
I just want to highlight that you just rolled out our history smoother than I think either of us have ever done. I was like,
Yeah.
it was 2009.
Yeah, I was like, that's right.
It was
That's
2012. What?
He's right again.
It's very complicated. But for Joey and I, we show up to our desk every day to make music, and so there's always new music coming from us. And the idea of a collaboration has always just been something that we've wanted to do between the two bands, but never could really find the right time to do it. And the lyric of this song and the sound of it and everything, and our John's availability all just fell into place. And he was able to come from Memphis over for an afternoon and track vocals. He came in and he sang like a bird, and then left for the day. And it was like
Pretty incredible.
it was this monumental moment for both of us to be able to say to both audiences that it's cool to like both. It's okay. We're all still friends. It's still music. Like here we are, and nobody owns us, so
Yeah.
we're able to do that.
I think too there was a song that Devour released off our second record, Soar, that was called The Bottom. And it was a turning point for the band because the label that we were with basically said, there's no more singles on the record. We're not going to release anything. And so Blake and I put up our own money, directed our own music video that now has 1 million plus views. But in that video, it was talking about reaching a bottom, and then coming to like a forgiveness point. And in that video, we wanted John to be there. We wanted to forgive him for leaving the band in a really awful way, quite honestly, which is just youth. You know what I mean? We were all kids when that happened. I'm not going to blame him for being human. But we wanted that forgiveness. It was a part of where Blake and I were at in our lives. And when he came to shoot a small little piece of that video where he was in it, we had our first conversation of forgiveness. And I think that's really where all of this music and art and rebirth for us as a friendship as Egypt Central, because Devour the Day was a survival of that horrible like disruption to our plan or whatever.
Right.
And so that friendship has been able to heal. He's a great businessman. He's a really great dad. We have a lot of respect for where he's at. But I think we all knew after that like being in the music industry and approaching it the way we did when we were kids destroyed us. And we weren't going to do that ever again. Like it didn't matter. We were going to do things the right way. We were going to release competitive, great artwork, but it wasn't going to be on the terms of some record label that didn't care about us or some manager who's just trying to make money. And I mean, we had them all. We've been with all of them. We've had publishing deals, all that stuff. And so that leads into the mindset of, if we're going to have everything we've ever worked on one song, Nobody Owns Me, the lyric was going to be very clear about why we can do this, how we can do this, and kind of like set the record straight, not with like a chip on our shoulder, but just to clarify that this is what makes us different than everybody else.
Yeah. And it's great, man. I mean, I love seeing the independent band. I love seeing that these days because, I grew up, I'm 55. I've seen all the bands get taken advantage of and, the big record labels and managers and all of that. They throw away these bands and, it was the only survival tool that you had back in the day. You really doing it yourself really wasn't too much of an option unless you had a whole lot of money. Now you still need a lot of money, as you know, but it's a more realistic thing. If you're willing to put in the work, you can do it on your own, and that I would imagine being independent that, and you guys have been doing this a while, so you know all these things. You know how to handle them. The administrative side of things is things that, the fan doesn't think about so much. Booking the tours, handling the payroll, hiring people, promotions, things like that. Is that something, that you've taken on and you have a system, or is it still kind of just kills you on some days?
I think it's a bit of both. I think that we've done a really good job of hiring out some independent consulting and teams, from playlisting to marketing, people that have experience from Disney to Hollywood Records, from bands that are all over. But the climate of the music industry, especially active rock, has changed so much. And then times 10 post pandemic, Blake really pushed for education during the pandemic. And so when we came out of that, instead of kind of being in this desperate spot, we were stronger than we'd ever been, because we took that time to take over everything, every piece of accounting, and that's really when we started to just see where the fan base was. And I think that even when you talk about the money and all of this, it's real easy to say, like, Blake and I did this, we organized it, but truly the reason why we have the power is because the fan base internationally for both bands, especially through streaming, they made their voice heard by listening to the music. I mean, that's what funds everything we're doing, is the people that listen to our bands, the people who support our artwork. I mean, we are forever indebted to the cycle of people who just simply listen to our music.
That's just, it's great to hear, because I hear so much of, streaming is a bad thing. I don't, there's not enough pay on it, those kinds of things. It's not sustainable. Um, I mean, you might have some of those same complaints that, the portion isn't large enough for the artist, and, that is an argument for sure. But you are using that to fund what you do. And I love hearing that, man, because usually hear the opposite of that. We put the stuff out there and we get, a fourth of a penny, 4,000th of a penny for each play. And that's a complaint, uh, understandable, but it's great to hear that you guys are benefiting. There is an artist out there that is benefiting, folks. So, uh, keep streaming it and making it possible.
It takes a lot of streams, and I think again that speaks into the fact that the loyalty of our two fan bases, the two bands underneath our label, or that we're in, it is simply because people love listening to the music, and they do it so often and so consistently. I mean, this is something that's been present for Blake and I and our families and everything since the origin of streaming, really 2011, 2012. And so, for a while we like, is this an anomaly? Like, we were looking around at other bands within our genre at the time period. And I think the only thing we can come back to is that our fans just are awesome. They're awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no doubt. I see all those numbers, man, and it's great. But you guys are great. You do great things. Tell me how you guys write songs. It's just the two of you writing the songs. Do you hang out in the same room? It looks like you would. Like I said, I know your chemistry. You guys are childhood friends, and really, and just there's great friendship, great chemistry here. Do you write songs together? Do you sit in a room and hack things out? Done through Zoom calls? How's it work for you guys?
It's really the whole spectrum. We write songs independently, we write songs together, we write songs with other people. But Joey and I have been writing together for so long that we know when to lean on each other, and we know when to help, push um, the football down the field, if you will. And I mean, I think that Joey particularly is an incredible artist all around. Like this, he's this guy does it all. He really does. He's an incredible musician and an incredible storyteller and an incredible visual artist as well. So songs,
Thanks, man.
yeah, buddy. Songs are songs are really like I would almost say like 50% of it, because what happens after the song is completed is another part of our process, not just making the song itself, but like, like how do we steer the song once it's completed? Like, how much time do we put into it? And visually, what does the song say visually? And so um,
He's being super modest too.
dude. He's my best
He's
guy.
being so modest. Literally, he's the captain of the ship, and he is sonically and musically what drives our team too. Blake is basically writing something new every day. He's awesomely obsessive over this stuff too, and so I think that trust that we've built over 20 years is one thing. But I think even it's important to mention, like, if you're a young songwriter, we're doing these classes and stuff, they're coming and thinking about this stuff, and it's like you want to do it all, you want to be able to do it all, as a young songwriter creative. But I think that for Blake and I, the reason why we've hit this stride over the last few years is celebrating the differences and the strengths of the other person, and then, like, as you learn to trust and rely on those strengths, yours actually have more room to be present as well. And so I think I spent a lot of time, I think we've talked about it, trying to be a guy who could do everything. And then as we've kind of backed off to just being really, really feeling more like kind of blessed that we have the gift path that we have or whatever, I feel like we've really hit a stride. I feel like it's cool. We're just getting started in a way, like we just got this house, got the studio we're building, and just kind of constantly still getting more toys and playing with them.
Yeah, man. That's the way to do it for sure. And there is a obvious love, respect, admiration, trust, like you said. And that's, like I said, man, that's that chemistry for writing songs and doing what you do, especially independently, all of those administrative things, like I was saying, you need all of those things, and you guys have it, and it's great to see, man. What inspires you guys to write? Is it, are you readers, movies, traveling, news items? What really is it? Just the random thing, personal, relationships, things like that. What really gets the pen moving for you guys, so to speak?
For me, I think that 99% of the songs I've written come from personal experience. I have always written songs as pretty much a traumatic outlet or a therapeutic outlet for my trauma, and stuff in life. And it is the way that I process. Art is the way that I process my life. It's kind of like my language. But I think that too, because we're best friends, and I'm not answering for him, but I will say that, like, we know what's going on in each other's lives. So we have very separate lives at this age, totally different structures, but we're very aware of, like, what each other are going through. And I think when we find a place where, like, what's going on in Blake's life runs parallel to what I'm talking about, but we're in loose enough of a terms that it can be accepted by both, that's when we feel like we have something special, because that's something that, like, a lot of people can relate to, and we can send that out.
Yeah.
That's for me.
Yeah. It's a two-part for me, because being able to express certain traumas in my life through music is always therapeutic. But then musically too, I think Joey and I are always trying to make something that will feel great to listen to, like a badass riff and a huge chorus, and just things that we can, like, 12-year-old in our rooms with the door locked and a guitar, jump up and down and just be, just wow out.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the word. That's the phrase.
So,
but
100% true.
Yeah. And so mixing all that together, I think, is what is where we end up with our final mixes on songs is
That's cool.
somewhere between all that.
Yeah, yeah, that's cool. You got to be a kid. You still got to be a kid. And speaking of kids, you guys have families now, right? I mean, it's does that change the dynamic? It doesn't sound any different. It doesn't sound any softer. I'll use that word, or more adult. There's still an angst. There's still that desire to make that song that where you just want to rip into it and go wild a little bit. There's that wild abandon to the band with the newer music, as was with the older stuff. But you got, teenagers at home, right? It's does that you're a dad, you're really
Yeah,
adulting
like,
now,
yeah,
man.
yeah,
Well, nobody's more honest than
my children. Yeah.
so
Raised by me,
yeah.
and our family has been through some very serious stuff. So but to be honest, I think that my kids and my family, they only kind of reinforce this path that of building the legacy that I want to be a part of. And I think that, like, if you have kids, they ask such pointed questions. So when my son's like investigating me as an artist, he's 14, he's asking these questions about everything pop music down to jazz, how it runs the music industry. I have so much pride as I get to, I mean, it's almost like explaining to him that nobody owns me. Because when they really get into it, you can YouTube how the industry works. These artists, a lot of them are absolute slaves to their label. They'll never make money for 10 years. And they're slaves to the road. I know the sacrifices of losing and people and missing funerals or not being there for things. And that's so serious, and all that things that can be said. And I know what that feels like. I'm not saying I'm above it. I just failed every way I could and also went through that. But to
Right.
say that to my kids and to have them go, so wait, at the end of the day, though, you're your own label and you and Uncle Blake do this and this and this and this. All you work, that's when you're working, that's what you're doing. Oh, I respect that. And that means more to me than any of it, to be honest. I mean, in the end, as a father, and so for me, it's like, again, just to reiterate, that is what has reinforced everything that we're doing is the family. And we always talked about that too. I mean, as we were getting older, it's probably a huge portion of the pie as to why we don't sign any of the 25 deals that have come in or sign with any of the managers that have tried. I mean, we literally have had every manager in the industry meet with us. And we're always just like, I don't think so, man.
Why would we do that?
I don't
Right?
think I think that they're going to start to run the ship and we're just going to be waiting to be told how high,
Right.
like how high would we jump, sir? And we just didn't want to do that anymore.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're obviously doing it successfully the way you do it now. So, why would you change that, right? It's working for sure. The single, Nobody Owns Me, almost an industrial sound, some heavy digitized effects and things like that. Stuff that wasn't so much prevalent in the earlier days. Um, a little more of that. It's got that real heaviness in that synth almost kind of thing. Can we expect more of that in an upcoming EP that you have coming out? Is that true? I hear EP in the spring. Can we hear more of that kind of thing, or is there a few different things that you're doing?
That song is unique, is particular, especially with the front half of the song being influenced by an artist like Bjork and things like that. I don't I don't think that particular influence will be found in other places, but I do think that you can expect the same kind of aggression, heaviness, and the overall tone will be similar. I think Joey and I have found in the writing process of this record a sound that we're going to hold to for a while, that we feel really, really good about. And yeah.
I think too, being raised probably just right at the age group where I still really attach myself to complete bodies of work. I loved albums. I discovered some of my favorite bands based on their artwork at like a record store. Like that, I still felt and experienced all that when I was young. I remember band posters all over us, the
Yep.
CD warehouse and stuff, you know what I mean? So that's still a part of it. And I think that I really like to think of things in collections. And so I do feel that this EP, this called Fragments of Us, the whole body of work is cohesive, and you'll really enjoy that.
That's awesome. That's awesome. That's very cool. Fragments of Us. That's the tentative title, or that will be it.
No,
That's
that is
it.
the title.
That's cool. Is it done?
It is its final song is
Yeah.
being mixed this week, so it
Yeah.
is done. Yeah.
Cool, cool.
Yeah.
Will that be under the Devour the Day name? Will there be any Egypt Central printed on there? Is that going to be under both names? How's it going to work?
We are currently writing an Egypt Central body of work
After
Okay.
this.
this.
Okay.
So Egypt Central on this Devour EP will just be that one feature, or that one collaboration.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
We're never gonna stop writing music, so it's gonna come out one way or the other. So
What's the biggest difference for you? What goes to the Egypt Central pile and what goes to the Devour the Day pile?
I mean, I'll just speak for my personal, like how I decipher the two is, I think that Devour has always been kind of based on Blake and I's love of constantly chasing modern music. Our ability to understand what's happening in the now and then reproduce it as songwriters in the now, like still, no matter what age we are, we're still creating current music. And I think, especially over the last couple of years, as we've released Egypt Central songs, I do feel Egypt Central is a celebration of a certain time period of rock, this kind of anthemic 2000s nostalgia that we were a part of. And absolutely, the fan base has allowed us to earn our place in time there. And so the songs that we're writing now, the people we're working with, to guitar players and stuff, to sound to build around that kind of Egypt Central, Avenged Sevenfold, Shine Down, Bullet for My Valentine world that we came up in, that just people celebrate, and John sings so well, even better than he ever did when we were young, to be honest. And I appreciate John's desire to stay away from social media and not, he's one of a few people who have been able to just not make that a part of his life. And for him, that's a really beautiful thing, I think. And so we kind of love honoring that. We think it's cool to have a little bit of old school mystery still, and rock and roll as well. And so, those are the big differences for me.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it any better. You did a great job.
Killing it, man. Killing it. Very cool.
I there is a direction for both bands, and I think the one thing about John that is incredible is you can hand him the phone book and he'll sing it. I think they say that about people that just have like naturally this great voice, and he is one of those dudes. And so Egypt Central is kind of an experimentation. Like, I feel like we know where we want to go with Devour, and we're still like trying different things out, but we know what the finish line looks like. With Egypt Central, it's more like there's a little bit looser of a margin there where we can experiment and go and land up in places that we weren't expecting. Over the past this EP Burn With You that we've done, we tried so many different things, and they all worked because John has an amazing voice. And there's some different directions on there, from Hunted, which is more of an anthemic rock thing, to Burn With You that is more of a modern track, and then Raise the Gates, which is a song that we've had in the catalog for a very, very, very long time that we
Very White Rabbit-esque type of song.
And Nobody or No Place Like Home, which is very White Rabbit.
What, you written a bunch of songs?
I just can't remember how many notes, what name of that song was. Yeah.
See, we're getting older.
It happens. Believe me.
I'm keeping. I don't want to
feel it.
everything. I have to call him and remind myself what's going on.
I feel you, man. No doubt.
I need to just to talk to people because
Joey.
Yeah, right. Which one am I? You guys are touring, right? You're gonna put a tour together. You're going out as Devour the Day, right? Will we get when we see Devour the Day? Will we get any Egypt Central in the set list?
I think that's a good question to keep asking.
Yeah, yeah, we'll see.
You don't know yourself yet, right? That's why I said for everyone. I think that's a good question to keep. For right now, we've got Inkcarceration for Devour the Day. We have touring coming up for Devour the Day. We're going this week to make a brand new music video for the next single called Empty. And that's this Friday. Where that's going to go to Octane and all the radio stations as well. We're both currently also touring with the band Pop Evil. Blake's going to be playing drums for them, helping out.
Oh, nice.
And I've been playing bass for them for the last few years. We're currently helping co-write some of the songs on their new record. Busy schedule as always. But there will be touring. It's part of our lives. We can't get away from it.
It's cool.
Love it.
With the two entities, will we see an Egypt Central tour?
Oh, with Devour as well?
You do the Devour the Day tour. After that, will you go out as Egypt Central?
We've talked about it. It's in the works. I think put the right foot forward. For us, I think it's always been artwork first. And so before we start figuring out how we're going to promote, sell, and tour it, we're going to make sure we have the right body of work for this next stage, I think.
Yeah, cool.
This answer is not written down on the prompter in front of me.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Caught you off guard.
It's actually still fun. To be honest, as organized as my life is, I think you too, it is still fun to kind of not know exactly what's going to happen with Egypt Central. We're all really good friends again, and we create as much as we can. We're all really busy. We have 3 different bands. He has a company he's running. He's doing really, really well, families and all that stuff. But our intention is to keep heading up the mountain, and we don't feel like we've reached the summit by any means.
Good news, man. Good news. It's great getting stuff from you guys. July 18th to the 21st, Inkcarceration Music and Tattoo Festival. It's in Mansfield, Ohio. It's at the Ohio State Reformatory. Really unique experience, man. I saw some video from this thing, last year, and it was like, wow, it's a prison pretty much. And that's a cool vibe, man, especially for heavy music. Tattoo Festival. Obviously, Joey got tattoos there. Blake,
oh God,
you gotta
honestly, not one.
Not one. Look at that.
That's no piercings either.
Yeah.
Wow, that's cool.
Joey, can't make it.
Been waiting.
I'm looking at flash art.
At one point, he did almost. I think you were close. Get the Egypt Central, one giant Egypt Central sign across his arms and back.
Wow,
that would have been in 2012. I would have been like, I shot a thing.
I love it. You got a chance here.
You're at that place. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, no, you got a chance here. You're at a tattoo festival, man. You're going to be
Yeah.
at a prison. Like, what greater place to get one?
Yeah.
We'll see, right?
It's a full circle moment though for us because the first record for Devour the Day is called Time and Pressure.
Yep.
Which is based off of Andy Dufresne's line in the movie Shawshank Redemption about how he got out of prison, that it wasn't a quick process, it was just time and pressure. And it's full circle to talk about where we are now as a band, as a label, as people, and where we were when we wrote the first record of Devour the Day, which is straight desperation. The song Good Man is absolutely a real place of desperation. And then now, for the first time, we are playing Inkcarceration is where Shawshank Redemption was filmed. And so for us, it's pretty cool full circle moment to be doing, a lot of the songs on the 10-year anniversary of Time and Pressure's release.
You just blew my mind.
Man,
Wow.
how about that? I love it, man. That's cool, man. That is cool. That is a show that you shouldn't miss if you can make it out there. And I'll do my best. Here in Chicago, so it's a drive, but not too far. So I'd love to see you guys for sure.
We'll get matching tattoos. You and me.
Yeah.
There you go. I don't have one myself.
I'll get like one word on my left cheek. Get one on your right, and
there we go.
It'll say that. Come together.
My wife will love that, man.
Yeah.
My wife will love that. Give it a spank, man.
Yeah.
Because I don't have one myself.
All right.
Couple of tough guys.
Couple virgins.
We got to do it, man. We gotta do it.
Man, talk about yanking the wheel.
Every interview has to have a peak moment.
You knew it was
This will be if it goes. This will be the most replayed section of the interview.
Come together.
I can see. What did you talk about with the guys and getting a tattoo on my ass?
I don't want to talk. I don't want to talk.
I'm gonna get matching tattoos.
I don't want to interview them anymore.
They pressured me into it.
Do it, Kentucky.
I love it, man. Guys, I can't say it's been more of a blast. It's great, man. Love you guys. Thanks so much for putting out the music you do, being friends. Because at the end of the day, man, all these bands that I love, you see them break up for all kinds of dumb reasons, man, and you wish they could just go back to the garage and be like they were in the beginning. You guys seem to be like that, man. It's like it was in the beginning. You guys are friends and you love each other, you respect each other. It's a beautiful thing, man, and I appreciate it.
Well, thank you for noticing. Appreciate that.
Yeah. Let's do it again, man. On the Egypt Central tour, or whatever you got coming. My door's always open to you guys. Thanks so much, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you, brother. Appreciate it.
All right, and I hope to see you at the Inkcarceration, and I'll run it past my wife to see if it's if it's
email us.
Let me know.
We'll be looking for that, dude.
I'll start
out of it.
I'll start picking out the font.
There you go.
People in Chicago, they'll come get you.
Yeah, man. Yeah, hell yeah. Hit me up for sure.
Yeah.
All right. See you guys.
They work at Vienna Beef. It's hot.
Love it, man. Hey, enjoy the day. See you guys soon.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.